The topic of the current presentation is getting started with EViews. The current presentation covers 8 points. These points include opening the software, creation of an EViews work file through describing its structure, entering data to an existing EViews work file, saving, closing this work file, and loading it again, creation of an EViews work file through reading data from a foreign source, creating a multiple page work file, and finally how to document a series. Using econometric software packages in estimating econometric models has increasingly become a cornerstone in applied economic studies. There are many econometric software packages including Minitab, EViews, and R. Econometric software packages can be classified into menu-driven and command-driven programs. EViews is a menu-driven software. However, it provides a command-based programming language. Thus, it is a user-friendly software. EViews is a Windows-based program. Its user interface enables you to use mouse and menus in each step of data analysis. Instead of using menus, you can use either the command window to write a single command or the program file. To load EViews from Windows, choose Start, All Programs, EViews 8, and finally EViews 8 again. After loading the software, the EViews window shown by the screenshot 2.1a will be displayed. The main window of EViews has 4 parts. The first part is the title bar. It is at the very top of the main window. The second part is the main menu. It is just below the title bar. The main menu includes 10 menus such as File, Edit, and Object. The third part is the work area. It is in the middle of the window. EViews objects are displayed in the work area. The fourth part is the status line. It is located by default at the very bottom of the window. Now let us create an EViews work file. But first, what is an EViews work file? An EViews work file could be defined as a container for EViews objects. The most commonly used EViews objects include equations, graphs, and groups. Every work file comprises one or more workfile pages. There are 2 methods to create an EViews work file. The first is to create a blank work file and determine its structure. The second is to create a work file through reading data from a foreign source, such as Excel. Now we will create an EViews work file using the first method, that is, creating a blank work file and describing its structure. As shown by the screenshot 2.5 and the screenshot 2.6, we use the file menu of the main menu to bring work file create dialog box. This dialog box has three sections or areas. Section 1 or Area 1 has the title Work File Structure Type. In this section, there is a drop-down menu where the user describes the structure of the dataset under consideration. Section 2 or Area 2 by default has the title Date Specification. However, this title varies according to the data structure, as we will see later. Section 3 or Area 3 has the title Work File Names Optional. Area 1 of the Work File Create dialog box has a drop-down menu as shown by the screenshot 2.8. The user chooses between three options, namely the dated regular frequency, the unstructured undated, and the balanced panel settings. Dated regular frequency is used for a time series dataset. Balanced panel is used for a panel dataset. And finally, unstructured or undated is used for a cross-sectional dataset. Now we determine the structure of the work file to fit a cross-sectional dataset that includes 90 observations. This is shown by the screenshot 2.9. Under section 1, that is work file structure type, select unstructured, undated. Note that when you select unstructured undated in section 1, section 2 it changes from data specification to data range. Thus, type 90 as the number of observations under the section entitled Data Range. In section 3 or Area 3, you have the option to give names to your work file and the page under consideration. Give them the names shown here. Here we determine the structure of the work file to fit a quarterly dataset that starts at the first quarter of the year 1952 and ends at the fourth quarter of the year 1996. This is displayed by the screenshot 2.12. Under Area 1, that is work file structure type, select dated regular frequency. Under Area 2, that is the data specification, type the start date and the end date as shown. For Area 3, you have the right to give names to your work file and the page. Finally, hit the OK button to create the work file of interest. Our task now is to determine the structure of the work file to fit a balanced panel dataset for 3 countries. The frequency of this dataset is annual. It starts at the year 1980 and ends at the year 1999. This is displayed by the screenshot 2.17. Under Area 1, that is the work file structure type, select Balanced Panel. Note that when you select panel, area 2 changes to panel specification. Under panel specification, select the frequency as annual and insert the start date as 1980 and the end date as 1999. For the number of cross sections, type 3 because we have 3 countries. Under area 3, give the names for your work file and the page. Finally, hit the OK button. There are different ways to enter data to an existing EViews work file, but here we will show how to do so using import of the file menu. There are 4 screenshots helping you to import the data from Excel to an existing EViews work file, starting from the screenshot 2.27 to the screenshot 2.30. But first, make sure that the Excel workbook is saved in the format approved by EViews 8. You have to observe the first observation of the first variable. In the current case, the first observation of the first variable, which is GDP, appears in cell P2. Finally, observe the order of the variables in your Excel spreadsheet. They appear in the following order: GDP, PR, M1, RS. Now let us import the quarterly data set, which is saved in an Excel file named for series, into the existing EViews work file named chapter 2 with the page name for series as well. There are 3 screenshots helping you in this task. They are screenshots 2.27, 2.28 and 2.29. Use the main menu to select the file menu as shown by the screenshot 2.27. Once you follow screenshot 2.27, the file open dialog box appears. The file open dialog box is displayed in the screenshot 2.28. This dialog box enables you to locate the required Excel file. Once you locate it, press the Open button to display the Excel Read dialog box, which is shown in the screenshot 2.29 in your textbook. In the Excel Read dialog box, keep the default selection for data order as it is. I mean, don't change it. This default is by observation series in columns. Under the upper left data cell, type P2, which is the first cell that contains the first observation of the first variable, that is GDP. Then type the names of the series in the same order as they appear in the Excel sheet. Finally, press the OK button. Now you have successfully imported the required data into an existing EViews work file. Now assume that you want to create a group containing the 4 series we have just imported. The easiest way to do so is to select the 4 series directly from the work file and highlight them together. By right-clicking, a drop-down menu appears. Select Open as Group, as shown in the screenshot 2.31. Then EViews has created an untitled group holding the data of the aforementioned series, which is displayed in the screenshot 2.32. If you would like to save this group, click the name button of the group title bar. So the object name box appears and proposes naming the group as Group 1. By hitting the OK button, the untitled group is renamed Group 1, as depicted by the screenshot 2.34. You should save your work file for future use. You can use the main menu toolbar to select File, Save As. So, EViews will display the Windows Command File dialog, which is shown by the screenshot 2.35a. This dialog box asks where to save your work file. Once you decide where to save it, press the Save button. By default, when you press the Save button, EViews displays a dialog showing the default options for storing the data in your work file. The choice is whether to save your series data in either single precision or double precision. Kindly refer to the screenshot 2.35p. Select the double precision and press the OK button. Then you can close the work file and the software itself. In order to load an existing EViews work file, you can reoperate the software if you have closed it after closing the work file. To do so, I mean to load an existing EViews work file, you can select the File menu from the main menu toolbar. You will see a standard Windows file dialog as depicted in the screenshot 2.36a. Then navigate to the appropriate directory and double-click on the name of the work file. In our current case, the name of the work file is Chapter 2. To load it into RAM, kindly have a look at the screenshot 2.36p. A part of this screenshot is displayed below. When the work file window opens, its all objects will immediately be available. EViews can create a new work file by opening data from a variety of formats, including Excel, RATS, Stata, and SPSS. EViews automatically identifies the format and the structure of these files. Different ways could be used to create an EViews work file through reading data from a foreign source. By a foreign source, we mean a non-EViews work file, such as Excel. Now we will apply this method to bring the balanced panel dataset directly to EViews. Look at the screenshots 2.37a, 2.37p, and 2.37c to help you doing this task. An easy way is to directly copy and paste as new work file in an EViews desktop. In such a case, EViews automatically recognizes that the source data is a balanced panel. You may notice that the range just below the title part of the untitled work file in the screenshot 2.38 shows both the range of dates, which is 1980 to 1999, and the number of cross sections, which is 3, because we have 3 countries. An EViews work file was previously defined as a container for EViews objects. Now it could be defined as a collection of pages. All data in an EViews page share a common identifier. For example, the 4 data series held in the work file page entitled 4 series in the work file named chapter 2 are dated and have the same frequency. I mean quarterly data. Kindly look at the screenshot 2.30. It shows these 4 series: GDP, M1, PR, and RS. Similarly, the work file page entitled GDPPC contains cross-sectional data on real GDP per capita in the year 1992 for 90 countries. It shares a common identifier, which is cross-section in this case. Look at the screenshot 2.10 in your textbook, which displays the work file for the cross-section data. In the previous slide, I made a mistake, so pardon me. I said that the common identifier for the GDPPC work file page is cross-section. This is wrong. The page contains cross-section data, but its common identifier is country. Now let us create a work file with multiple pages. Kindly look at the screenshot 2.41 in your textbook. This screenshot shows that if you click the New Page tab at the bottom of the EViews work file, a drop-down menu appears. When this drop-down menu appears, it indicates 5 ways to create a new page. Kindly select Specify by Frequency Range. Then the work file Create dialog box appears. Note that this work file Create dialog box was previously shown by the screenshot 2.6. Now you can repeat the same steps explained here to create different pages with various structures. These steps are repeated in the screenshot 2.42 and the screenshot 2.43. After repeating these steps, the final multiple-page work file is displayed in the screenshot 2.44 in your textbook. It's of crucial importance to know how to document a series. By documenting a series, we mean to add more information about the employed data, including data sources and its units of measurement. Here we add documentation to the GDPP series held in the work file page with the same name and saved in the work file entitled Chapter 2. To open the GDPPC series, double-click on this series. From the series toolbar, select View to show the drop-down menu that is depicted in the screenshot 2.45. From this drop-down menu, select Label. Thus, the series view changes as shown by the screenshot 2.46a to enable you to add data documentation. The next slide shows the series view before and after adding the required documentation. In the left-hand side of the current slide, the series view before documentation appears, whereas in the right-hand side of it, the series view after documentation appears. You can detect the difference between both. On the right-hand side, the series view after documentation, you can see the definition of the variable, which is real GDP per capita in every country, has converted into US dollars using purchasing power parity rate exchange rates. This allows us to make direct comparisons across countries. The source of data is COOP 2004, so the difference between both views is so clear. As mentioned earlier in the current presentation, we can use the command window instead of the menus. For example, instead of using the menus to create the work file fitting our quarterly data set, we can directly create it through typing the code shown below in the command window. After typing this code in the command window, press the Enter key of the keyboard to create the work file. Thank you so much.